Welcome back to a Clan a Day podcast, brought to you by bagtownclans.com. I'm your host, Colin McDonald. Today, we'll be diving into the history of Clan Hepburn, a name synonymous with both intrigue and prominence along the Anglo-Scottish borderlands. The Hepburns played a significant role in the turbulent politics of Scotland, particularly through their association with the Earls of Bothwell. The origins of the Hepburns trace back to Northumberland, but it was in Scotland where their name would echo through the centuries. The name Hepburn is believed to derive from lands in Northumberland, a border region constantly disputed by England and Scotland during medieval times. The meaning of the name itself, high place beside the water, comes from the Old English words hea for high and burn for stream. It's fitting as many Hepburn lands were strategically placed in rugged, water-rich regions, perfect for both defence and agriculture. The earliest records of the Hepburns date back to the 13th century, with the family flourishing in the parish of Chillingham, Northumberland. Chillingham Castle, now infamous for its hauntings, was once their seat. The Hepburn Basel Tower remains standing today, a silent sentinel of a family whose roots ran deep in this contentious landscape. The most famous branch of the Hepburn family, however, ascended not from Northumberland but from East Lothian in Scotland. Legend tells of a Hepburn knight who, in the 14th century, saved the Earl of March from a rampaging horse. In gratitude, the Earl granted the knight lands in East Lothian, thus planting the seeds for the rise of the Lords of Hailes and the Earls of Bothwell. From these origins, the Hepburns rose to become a formidable family, their fate forever entwined with Scotland's turbulent history. One of the first prominent Hepburns in Scotland was Adam Hepburn, who, during the reign of King David II, received charters of lands in Berwickshire and East Lothian, including the estates of Traprain and Beanston. His descendants were granted the title of Lords of Hailes, solidifying the Hepburns' place among the Scottish nobility. The line of Hepburns that ruled from Hales would eventually lead to the creation of the Earldom of Bothwell, one of the most influential titles in the kingdom. Patrick Hepburn, the first Earl of Bothwell, was granted the earldom in 1488 after playing a key role in the defeat of King James III at the Battle of Salchieburn. His descendants would continue to shape Scottish history in ways both dramatic and controversial. Of all the Hepburns, none is more infamous than James Hepburn, the fourth Earl of Bothwell, whose tumultuous relationship with Mary, Queen of Scots, has been immortalised in history. Born around 1534, James Hepburn's life was a whirlwind of political intrigue, betrayal, and romance. He played a central role in the murder of Mary's second husband, Lord Darnley, an act that forever tainted his legacy. Shortly after Darnley's death, Bothwell married Mary, but the union was short-lived and unpopular, ultimately leading to Mary's forced abdication and Bothwell's own exile. James Hepburn fled to Scandinavia, where he spent his final days imprisoned in Dragsholm Castle in Denmark, dying in 1578. His dramatic life left a deep scar on Scottish history, but it also cemented the Hepburn name in the annals of royal intrigue. Despite the notoriety of the Bothwell line, other branches of the Hepburn family also left their mark on Scottish history. The Hepburns of Wotton and Beanston were prominent landowners and military leaders, playing pivotal roles in the defence of the Scottish borders and the internal politics of the realm. Sir Patrick Hepburn of Wotton, for instance, was a notable figure in the mid-15th century. He was a key supporter of the Scottish Crown, serving as Sheriff of Edinburgh and Haddington and participating in peace negotiations with England. His family's stronghold at Wotton Castle remained a centre of Hepburn power for centuries, and the Wotton line contributed significantly to both local and national politics. The Hepburns were not just warriors and landowners, they were also active in the religious and intellectual life of Scotland. Several members of the clan, like John Hepburn, Prior of St Andrews, played influential roles in the Scottish Church. John was responsible for founding St Leonard's College at the University of St Andrews in the early 16th century, contributing to Scotland's growing reputation as a centre of learning. The Hepburns' influence continued well into the 17th century, particularly during the Covenanting Wars when Sir Patrick Hepburn of Wotton commanded an infantry regiment in General Leslie's army. Sir Patrick and his men fought at the pivotal Battle of Marston Moor in 1644, part of the larger wars of the Three Kingdoms, where Scotland's future was being contested both on the battlefield and in political chambers. Like many of Scotland's great families, the fortunes of the Hepburns eventually waned. The Bothwell title was forfeited following the fall of James Hepburn, and many of the clan's lands passed to other families through marriage and inheritance. However, their legacy remains embedded in the fabric of Scottish history. Their story, one of valour, controversy, and resilience. Today, the Hepburn name is more widely recognised for its associations in the arts, most notably with the iconic actresses Catherine and Audrey Hepburn. While not directly connected to the Scottish clan, they carry forward the distinguished Hepburn name in a new, albeit entirely different, realm of fame. That wraps up our deep dive into the history of Clan Hepburn, a family whose roots in the Scottish lowlands are as rich and complex as any in the country's history. Join us again tomorrow for another journey into the past with a Clan a Day podcast. I'm Colin MacDonald, and as always, go and airy and both are leet.